Live, where I get the chance to chat with luminaries in e-discovery and related areas.
Welcome to eDiscovery Leaders Live, hosted by ACEDS and sponsored by Reveal. I am George Socia, Senior Vice President of Brand Awareness at Reveal, and this week we have a special set of eDiscovery Leaders Live sessions streamed live from ILTA. It is now day 3 or day 4, depending upon how you count this, and this is for us our last broadcast. For this one, I have here as our final guest, Adam Paulson. Adam, please tell our folks who you are, where you work, and what you do.
Awesome. Thank you, George, so much. So like you said, I'm Adam Paulson. I am a consultant and construction discovery expert, and we are a e-discovery consultancy firm that provides concierge-level service and e-discovery solutions for people focused on the unique challenges within the construction industry. I've been in the e-discovery space for the last 10 years. We've provided solutions from everything from super small projects and investigations to 100-matter attorney reviews on some of the largest second requests in the country.
Now, you've been in the space 10 years, but you haven't been with the company 10 years, right?
That is correct. I just joined this job as construction discovery expert 3 months ago, coming from a shop called Level Legal in Dallas.
So, maybe fair, maybe not fair, but what drew you to this job in particular? Why this company?
You know, I think in the e-discovery space, one of the unique challenges is although there are a lot of interesting vendors and technological solutions to these problems, I think at the end of the day, what clients really want is somebody that's going to be in the trenches with them, providing service and making sure that they're tailoring solutions to their unique needs. And so something like this that's focused on having expertise in that specific industry, I think is something that I found very appealing.
What sort of expertise is particular to the construction industry when it comes to e-discovery?
I think a large part of the expertise in there is just how a typical construction project works. So knowing your statements of work from your change orders, things of that nature, knowing where the documents are going to be located that are relevant to a particular dispute. All of this is the kind of knowledge that I think that you can really leverage on behalf of the clients in the construction space.
And is this knowledge that's generally widely held? How specialized is this specialty?
I think this specialty is highly specialized. So our founders have essentially 20 plus years of construction-based practice experience as attorneys helping these clients. So they have seen everything, they have done everything, and I'm happy to be a part of that and learning along with them.
As you have, so were you doing construction work before, or is the construction side new as well?
So in my previous life, I've worked on a number of construction reviews, and they are uniquely challenging, especially not so much just on the getting documents ready for production, but also sort of the fact development side. For counsel, that can be very challenging, given that you will often have hundreds of claims where you need to find documents responsible for each of them in enormous data sets. And so leveraging tools, AI, and other such tools are very critical in order to quickly get the answers that attorneys need in the space.
How enormous is enormous for those data sets?
You're talking up to multiple terabytes in some cases. These cases are huge. So you will have giant buildings, and that's what we're mostly talking about here. Is we're not talking about a general contractor that's had some issues with building sort of a family home, but we're talking about building roads, building stadiums, things like that. And so you're going to have an owner, you're going to have general contractors, design firms, and just hundreds and dozens of subcontractors supporting the work. And as you can imagine, those are all different sources of data that will need to be collected, reviewed, processed. In a lot of cases, you're going to have data that doesn't have, very good sort of data hygiene working on this. They're not going to have great metadata. They're not necessarily going to produce in the correct formats. They're not always going to have ESI protocols or any experience at all in the space.
Are there types of content that are particularly common in construction that aren't found in more general litigation, or at least not in the same extent?
I think the reliance on image data can be critical. So photographs, things like that, which can raise unique challenges. Of course, a lot of the solutions in this space are really centered around text, but also, of course, architectural drawings, CAD files, things of that nature are far more prevalent in this field than any other.
So it sounds as if, yes, it's e-discovery, but it's a very different e-discovery in many ways.
I think that is a fair assessment.
As you look to the next, say, 6 months to 1 year, what are some of the top priorities or top challenges you face on the e-discovery side of things?
So I think always the top priority is going to be making sure that we're providing concierge level service to our clients. We want to make sure that we're listening to what they say, that we're finding the solutions that are best calibrated to solve their specific problem, and that we're executing that on a way that leaves everybody feeling good about the entire process. E-discovery is painful, annoying, and difficult. And we really do get a lot of joy out of helping to navigate that process so that our clients can get back to doing what they actually want to be doing, as opposed to dealing with matters.
And tying that back to what you were saying earlier, I suspect that more so than in the more mainstream situations with large e-discovery projects where the clients often are familiar with e-discovery and sometimes quite sophisticated. Maybe on the construction side, this is not as familiar a topic to them.
That is absolutely the case. Many of our clients will not have in-house e-discovery counsel. And so we do not provide legal advice, but we really do a lot of work helping to navigate the process. Everything from walking through basics of collections, things like that, processing, hosting, review, production, just getting our clients through this process, introducing them to tools that can help make it cheaper and more efficient, tools like BrainSpace, things of that nature.
Hence the importance of the concierge level service.
Oh, absolutely. The best thing that we can do for a client is, even if it prevents us from doing a lot of work, is just figure out solutions that essentially obviate the need to do an expensive process.
So second priority challenge, whatever you call it, what would that be?
I think we're going to continue as part of this is try to do education around the technical and technologically based solutions that exist in the industry. You know, there's a lot of skepticism at times dealing with things, not even things that are as even as old at this point as just VAR and AI, but even things like email threading or even standard deduplication sometimes. And so continuing to educate so that our clients know that these tools and more advanced tools, of course, exist to help them and to make the process as burden-free as possible. Is definitely going to be a high priority for us.
What forms will that education take, or does that education take?
Well, I could do anything from calling you up, George, and asking you to walk us through how the CMML model in BrainSpace works, to just simply talking about what deduplication is and how to put that in an ESI protocol so that it can be leveraged in order to reduce data streams.
Are the clients coming to you asking for education, or are you looking at what they need and thinking everyone will be better off if they have a better understanding?
So I think we're proactive about that in all stages. We don't demand that our clients do anything. We present options at all stages of the process, and then they can choose whether or not to follow up with them, because at the end of the day, it's the clients and their attorneys that actually have to argue this in court and have to sign off that they've completed the production obligations.
Have you got a third priority or challenge to discuss?
I think that the third priority and challenge for us is just to continue to work on reporting and to derive actionable intelligence from the work that we're working on right now. And so that can be including getting things like billing, fee structures, things like that, and make sure that we have good reporting to general contractor clients, other corporate clients, and outside counsel, so that they can have a sense of what's going on a day-to-day basis on these matters, so that they can make decisions in order to control costs to complete the discovery project, streamline that.
Shifting gears, I'm going to ask you my ideal e-discovery platform.
Mhm.
And here are the parameters, which basically are that there are no parameters. Assume that everything is possible. Assume that cost is no object. Suspend, if you would like, the laws of physics. I don't care. If you could have your ideal e-discovery platform, what might it look like?
Well, I think that the first thing that I'm going to want is that everybody in the world knows everything about how to use it. Because that I find is often the hardest barrier to getting adoption in any technology is just, have I used this before? I don't want to learn how to use something else, please.
I don't think anybody, in all the times I've asked that question, has given me that side of things.
That is a huge reason in which relativity remains one of the largest platforms in this space. It's just that everybody knows how to use it, so that's what our clients sometimes ask for. But one thing along those lines that I'd also say is, I know that we don't want to talk about cost, but I think the simplified cost structure, tying it a little bit back to reality, is something that I really find is useful, because it's a lot easier to communicate that to our clients than something that has a lot of caveats and a 4-page document in which you've got to figure out how much certain things are going to cost. I like the back-end AI technology and visualizations that Reveal has. I find that stuff is incredibly useful at getting actionable intelligence from documents quickly. I love using it as a practical matter. And then I do like some of the ways that you configure various things, the buttons and knobs on the front end that you can use in something like relativity. And I also like Disco's front end integration with AI in a lot of cases, which is frankly really nice to be able to click on that button that says, hey, these are the documents that AI thinks are tagged for. And so go ahead and fix it. So those are like general things that I've been impressed by in the platforms I've used. And I've used a lot of them.
So, thinking even more broadly, again, no limits whatsoever. What would any other things you would want a platform to be able to achieve?
I think when I'm talking about an e-discovery platform, this is a hard question, just because you're in the day-to-day of what your platform can actually do.
Right.
And so much of what we're going to be doing is we have recommendations on which platforms might be good for that.
Right.
We're going to ultimately defer on what makes sense, what we're hearing from outside counsel, what we're hearing from clients, on what best fits their goals. But on a broader sense, I think it is just, I want it to be able to be easily configurable to whatever the particular requirements of the matter are, while being easily able to set it up and templatize the things that work across matters. So that, like, setup, starting, getting ready, getting the AI going, everything like that is just essentially plug and play, and you don't need complicated processing and vendor expertise in order to get those things set up.
So what I'm hearing is knowledgeable users, drop dead simple to use platform, drop dead simple to understand pricing.
Yes, I think those are the three things. That is an excellent summary of what I've tried to say, George.
Anything else you'd like to cover in the time we have remaining?
I'd just like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. It was a pleasure talking to you, sir.
Glad to have you. Adam Paulson is with CDE, and the full name is Construction Discovery Experts, because it's changed a bit, I think, over time. Now Construction Discovery Experts.
That's right.
I am George Socia with Reveal. This has been eDiscovery Leaders Live. Thank you all for joining us in this and all the earlier sessions throughout ILTA, and for that matter, all the sessions before. Look forward to talking with you all again next Friday. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you so much, George.